This is the Chosen Chapter 1 commentary. This is your writer, director, and I. Right here, Manuel wanted a cool phrase for the movie, so I came up with "we will redefine suicide." With this commentary, I'll try to explain to you as to why Chapter 1 came out kind of poorly as compared to the ones that are going to come out newer. I came up with the name of The Chosen by what happens later on in it. And really, it was just us three. I had to use Emmanuel's camera and his computer. That's why this chapter was rushed and didn't come out as well as I had hoped. But it came out pretty well. Right here, you see me write on a paper. I'm actually writing the extra bit of the end to the poetry that I recite later on when I'm supposed to be dead. Right here we're using Silent Hill music. I used a lot of video game music. In this chapter I used mostly Silent Hill, but we did use some other stuff in there, I think. But really it was all Silent Hill music because it just fit the mood of this chapter, the mysteriousness, and Emmanuel's character, you're not knowing who he is at all. He's sitting there looking at the poetry. He's somewhat disappointed with Jason, that's my character, because he's suicidal, and Manuel's character wants to try to fix that, and later on he sees that the way he tried to fix it isn't necessarily the right way to fix it. But right here, very interesting, we were using transmission fluid for the blood. We had a straw along my arm with the belt holding the straw. You can kind of see it a little bit in the shot for a split second there. And they just started pouring the transmission fluid, and I was falling into a pan. I'm there cutting myself. It does bleed quite a bit. I figured it was okay because later on in the episode, my past self comes back to life, and I figured right here, if you realize that there's way too much falling out, you'll start to wonder why he's still alive. This shot was actually shot a different day to add to the scene, because right there I have toilet paper, and in the previous scene I didn't. Right there on the toilet paper, that's just pure food coloring right there. Give props to Emmanuel for being able to play so mysterious. Right here, originally we were supposed to disappear, but I went with that instead. Now see right here, this is the past. Over there on the bookshelf, a lot of the games and movies are removed, but you can kind of see them on the bed right there a little bit. But with this one, we didn't really explain much because I wanted y'all to try to figure it out for yourselves, but some people were quite confused. But here's my character waking up in the room just outside his, and he's wondering how he got there. He doesn't really realize that he's in the past yet. But that is my brother playing my past self. And here's my character going back to his room. I really love this shot right here. The window and everything. It's really cool, I think. And here he is. He's wondering something's different. Something's not right. Everything's off. He had some things on the TV. And he looks in the closet. As you saw in the previous scene just before this, that my younger self is in that closet. Right here, to imitate the smacking sounds, I basically just took one of my old geometry books and smashed it against the wall. It sounds pretty good. Right here, this scene, we were actually trying to bring him in on the skateboard. I actually drug him for a lot more, but he's a trooper. He let me drag him across the floor after the skateboard flipped out from under him. It's pretty cool. This is basically the tension build-up, and that wood right there was actually built by my dad for some previous use, and we just decided to use it in the movie, and we had to nail those two boards there because my brother needed something more to lay on. As you can see right there, there's transmission fluid stains on the board from later on, because we actually shot a couple of scenes before this, but that appeared later on in the chapter. And right there, he kind of messed up, slowly breaking down his arms, but whatever. Here I come back with my tools, getting ready to kill somebody. Just happens to be my past self. He's basically changing his suicidal tendencies to homicidal tendencies, but against his past self. So he figures that if he can kill his past self, then he won't exist anymore. Because he realizes that for some reason he can't kill himself in the present, and he's hoping that it's different in the past. There I am, trying to look evil. As evil as I can. Right here, I talk about having sedated him. We actually shot a scene where it looks like I'm syringing something into his arm. But I decided to cut it out because if it was really up to me, I would have had a real syringe and we would have shown me putting it into him. But we didn't, and so I just cut it out because it slowed down the pace and it was just way too fake, really. The problem with the sock in his mouth is he would always chew it. He was always chewing the sock. The sock went in dry, came out covered in saliva. He's nasty. We made fun of him for it. Right here I'm roughhousing him a little bit, but he's totally used to it, so it's cool. It's cool.
I gave you a shot. It relaxes your muscles. But don't worry. You'll still feel everything.
See, there I'm talking about. That he'll still feel everything, because I wanted to come up with something so that we didn't have to buy ropes and stuff to tie him down. Because we had $8 worth of a budget, and that was from Emmanuel. He was like, well, I've got some spare change, because I didn't have a job at the time, and that's one of the main things, is this one didn't come out so well because I was using his brother's camera, and I was using Emmanuel's computer, so I really had to rush to put this one together. And that's the toilet paper covered in transmission fluid. My brother did a pretty good job of twitching right there. It's pretty cool. Right here, it's just kind of like, let's stop, have my character smoke. See, I actually smoke, so it's cool. It's kind of like my little break whilst acting. But it would have been a real big time saver if I had smoked whilst doing things to him, and probably would have been cooler. And I kind of do that in Chapter 2, which will be released soon. There's Manuel question as to whether or not he's done the right thing, whether or not this is the right way to get rid of his suicidal emotions. And here I am screaming at my past self because he's way too noisy. Then I go back over there and I'm like, want some more? Obviously, I put toilet paper on his eyes and tied a belt around so he wouldn't bleed to death and die on me. Even though that's not technically possible for him to die on me. There, I'm manhandling him again. It's all good. It's all good. But, yeah, there I give a little punch. They're totally fake, but whatever. Now, right here, you're about to see a special effect that I tried to do. I actually did this one really good special effects video. It had practically no story, but I wanted to do a lot of stuff real time in The Chosen because it was just so time consuming to do everything on the computer, even though I got really good at it. The thing is, I got really good at doing things to make it look cool from a distance. Right there, as you just saw, I tried to do it up close, and it totally didn't come out well, which is why it's a millisecond. But I really wanted to show something, because I couldn't show anything. And that was disappointing.